Well, we're trying something new today. This is supposed to be our online class. I experimented with Blackboard Virtual Classroom and another streaming service, but I couldn't get any of them to work, and I think it was a network problem here at the university. I'm in my office right now at the university. Seems to be a good network, but I think they're blocking some things to prevent some streaming services or something. Anyway, I want to go back. I'm on our website right now and just reviewing a few things. Everyone has sent me their phase 1 already, which is great. But people were so busy with phase 1 that nobody sent me their skill assessment for phase 2. So I want to briefly review that because there's not a lot to talk about today if you don't have some ideas. And I'll be asking you to participate through TitanPad as we go along today by chatting there on TitanPad. Okay, the skill assessment, let's go back here and look at some of the notes from last week. We were talking about how, and we were using writing as the example, how to assess writing as a skill. So I said the advantage of writing is that you have the data right there on paper. The only other things that we need to know about are the conditions under which that data was collected, what students understood the instructions to be, how much time they had, how much help they had. That would all affect how well they could write. So you need to be specifying some of those things. And for example, sometimes it's really nice to use pictures as a writing activity. So we need to see those pictures in order to judge how well they could write. So I mentioned some of these things here under, I call them conditions of the task here on the video. And what were the prompts? Was there a poster? And how did the teacher clarify the instructions? Even the paper, if you're going to evaluate handwriting, we need to know about the paper. Was it lined? And how did the students understand? Did you really model and demonstrate exactly what was needed? Now, I want to spend some time thinking about how a post-test and a pre-test could differ a little bit and still be measuring the same thing. So if you can give me some nice pre-test tasks or questions today, we could discuss that. So we mentioned features to be assessed, but I said that all of these will need rubrics. And on the rubric, I suggested we'll have 4 levels. And the main thing that you need to be thinking about right now is what is the passing level? So what is the basic minimal acceptable level? So these are the things that I wanted to talk about today. Since you did not hand me any, send in any tasks for writing, it's going to be hard, but I hope that you'll think of some as we go along today, and we can talk about them and work with them. The main principle is right up here on the top. Test what you plan to teach. Very important. It's not an IELTS. Think about how you're going to be teaching writing and focus on that element. Test that. Did they learn what you were really teaching? We don't expect big improvements in their writing skill ability because it's so complicated. But we could see some small improvements in some of these specific areas that we discussed last week, and maybe you've even thought of another one that we might want to consider here, especially like for grade 2. grade 2, we really want to keep it simple. We're not expecting a lot of development of the topic or anything like that. So that's my review video here.